All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to our Saturday weekly discussion. And every Saturday we are going to have a discussion, and we are following the program from the certificate in happiness studies. And this week we are going to discuss week 9 of the June 2024 cohort of the certificate in happiness study program. And the reason we are doing this is because in our MA in happiness studies, we got a chance to learn about these material, but we didn't have the opportunity to discuss the important point that we have learned in this lecture. So this is an opportunity for us to do that. And also, we understand the importance of the 3 R's of change, and those are reminder, repetition, and ritual. And by exercising the 3 R's of change, it helps us remember and understand the material better. And also, by discussing these topics, we are also exercising the spiral theory of knowledge, where when we keep going back to what we know, we will understand it at a much deeper level. So those are the reason for our Saturday discussion. And we thought it was really important to open it up to everyone in the happiness studies community. And I hope that in this meeting, I will get to share my I ams, right? Things that I find interesting, actionable, and meaningful in Tao lecture. And of course, it is not limited to Tao lecture. I am open for idea from the recommended reading, the online video and books that are recommended from the certificate in happiness study program, and of course anything related to the topic. I am more than happy to discuss and to hearing from everyone. So just a quick overview before we start week 9 of the certificate in the happiness studies program. We are on the process in the middle of semester A, which is introduction to happiness study. And in the first part of the program, we get to learn about the Aspire model and how happiness is defined as whole being, right? Whole person well-being. And by cultivating spiritual well-being, physical well-being, intellectual well-being, relational well-being, and emotional well-being, we cultivate whole being. Therefore, even though the SPIRE model consists of 5 elements, I like to see whole being at the 6th hidden element, and each of the element we have 2 principles. Therefore, we have 12 principle in the happiness studies. And week 9 is the second part of the first physical principle, P1, stating that mind and body are connected, right? So there is a huge connection between the mind and the body, and the 9.1, neck up and down. That is the title. And I love this lecture very much because it tells the story of the meeting between Dr. Martin Seligman and Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar back when Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar became famous thanks to his psychology of leadership and positive psychology, the 2 courses that he was teaching at Harvard. And I believe the book Happier that Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar wrote was one of the best seller. And he became very well known in the field thanks to that. And in his conversation with Dr. Martin Seligman, the topic neck up and down came up. And from what I can remember, Dr. Seligman said that the problem of psychology in general is that we are focused too much from the neck up. And what he meant from my interpretation is that psychology focused too much on the mind, even though we started to see the connection between the mind and the body. There's not much work done on the body and the connection between the mind and the body. Therefore, it is extremely important that we explore the idea that mind and body are connected. So in 9.1, we are reminding the importance of the connection between the mind and the body. And I think one of the greatest study that is very well known is the placebo effect, right? So the placebo effect tell us that our beliefs can significantly impact our physical performance and well-being. The placebo effect illustrates how the mind can influence the body reaction. So the placebo effect is when, let's say, you take a pill that is not specific for a treatment, but because the patient who was taking the pill was thinking that they are getting the correct treatment for their condition. And what happened is that their body react to that pill, and because the mind believe that they will get better thanks to this treatment, the body follows. And from what I have read, the placebo effect is very important to learn when it comes to researches and studies on medical and the placebo effect. I think I remember there's a part that is not very well known that Dr. Tal Ben Shahar mentioned is the placebo effect also works even when the patient they are conscious about not taking the real pill, right? Even though they are knowing that they are only take a sugar pill, for example, their body still show positive result from it. And this is the power of the mind over the body. Right. Hello, Chili. Thank you for joining us. So again, neck up and down, the important the differentiation between the two is not really to separate them. The idea is to show the connection between the mind and the body, how the mind can affect the body and vice versa. The body can affect the mind too, as we has learned from the previous week, right? Certain body posture and the way that we stand or the way that we move our body can greatly affect our mind as well. For example, a confident posture can help a person increase their confidence. The like the post up laying down and you know um, is like it's show the mental state of somebody who is willing to let go. Therefore, a certain pose can demonstrate or certain belief and a certain benefit. And those are the two that we need to remind ourselves. And also in 9.1, we learn about MBI, which stands for Mind Body Integration Method. And this is the method involved in using physical postures associated with certain emotion to elicit and strengthen those emotion, as I just mentioned. So MBI is combining physical action with mental visualization to foster psychological state like courage, like gratitude, love, and joy. So all of this has a very, very important impact on how we can get closer to our goal. And this is very much relatable to the knowledge that we learned from last week of how the mind, the body has a huge connection because certain emotion from the mind can cause direct pain or well-being to the body. So, and again, these are open discussions, so feel free to type your question in the chat or raise your hand when I mention the topic that you would like to to discuss. And 9.1 is a great reminder of the relationship between the mind and the body. And once we understand the connection of the two, I think it's extremely important to following back with uh, an as if principle. So, what is an as if principle? And I have heard of this like many years back, and it wasn't called as if. Like when I learned of it, it's called fake it until you make it, as in pretending like you are already having something and act as if you have it, and eventually you will be able to materialize what you desire. So in definition, as if principle, acting as if you already possess a desired quality can help cultivate that quality. This principle, rooted in the work of William James and expanded by Richard Wiseman, emphasize the power of behavior in shaping our internal states. All right. So this principle is stating that by acting on it, by acting on our belief, we can shape the inner state, the internal state, and that can help us get closer to the goal. And I guess one of the story that um, stand out the most to me in my personal growth and learning is a quote stating that if you want to make $1 million, you have to be a millionaire first. Now, this might sound strange to you as it did to me at first, because I thought that, you know what, the definition of a millionaire is that you gotta have $1 million in the bank, right? But this quote saying that in order to make $1 million, you have to be a millionaire first. So what is stating is that you have to have the characteristic of a millionaire. And I learned this from a book. The author is a multi-millionaire, and he helped other people to do the same. And in his book, he shared the habit of a millionaire, like a millionaire mindset of how important it is to wake up by 5 a.m. in the morning. And that's how all the successful people does, and the importance of making your bed when you wake up first thing in the morning, because that is the first success of the day. And then when you come back home from work, you have a nice bed that you can rest. So it's very important. And in that book, it's also give us the importance of exercising, meditation, planning, in the beginning of the day, and it didn't make much sense for me back then. But as I learned from happiness studies, make a lot of sense because what the author was trying to do is that he was providing the information so that his reader can act on it, so they will know how it would be like to cultivate the characteristic, the information of a self-made millionaire, and by acting on, by faking it, right? As in like acting as if the reader are already a millionaire, and they will cultivate that information, and they will be able to materialize their goal of being a millionaire. Chilling right in the chat. I know that phrase "fake it until you make it." Yeah, I didn't know it is an as if principle. Yeah, I didn't know that either, but I connected the two. Is the person you mentioned Stephen Bartlett? Uh, no, I think his name is different, but it could be. It's been a while. The last time I read it was 18 years ago. So I don't remember the name, but I just remember the quote. Maybe I'll need to look it up after this presentation. But yeah, the acid principle, very, very powerful. And it has been applied, and I think it has a lot of value here. You know, the idea of having a desire and acting as if we already have the outcome of that desire can definitely uh, get us closer to that goal. And that's that. Does anybody would like to share your thought on the asset principle and the idea of how acting on your desire can help you get closer to it? And I think this is very important, right? Because we all have a calling in life, a mission in life. And if we can live toward the result that we want it to, then that can definitely give us a clearer journey toward uh, that destination. Right. Okay. So the principle also tell us the importance of external influences on internal state. So in the work of William James, he noted that our behavior and physical posture can significantly influence our psychological state. For example, whistling or sitting up straight can foster confidence and positivity. So just more information on the as if principle of how when you act on it, how when we uh, live it, then we will be able to shape and the inner understanding of the external influences. And this is not just about positive thinking, right? Because positive thinking is important, but positive acting can can get us to the goal that we wanted to get to. Because just by thinking about it will not entirely help it materialize, but by acting on it, by getting it done. And that way is the difference between having a great idea and working toward that great idea. And I guess that is the lesson that I have learned from this uh, lecture, the importance of acting rather than just thinking. So, right. Okay. So I'm going to 9.3 unless anyone want to explore the asset principle a little bit further. So chilling. Just feel free to unmute yourself, chilling.
I got, sorry, is it the voice okay?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, great. Actually, I've just typed for you have just shared about there is a meaning there. There's a sharing of what he's doing like regularly, and their how that their mindset probably like different than the the general public. And when you are mentioned several points, and I found that and I've it just popped out another person that's Stephen Barnett. It's a very famous podcaster in British, and I just noticed when you recall that it's not a recent reading. It's like a um several years before. Yeah, it just let me notice that, oh, actually there are something similar to this group of people. Yeah. And yeah, so thank you. Just before you going into point 9.3, I just want to like share you with this part, and thank you for the sharing. And it's remind me of this book that I want to read, and especially the mention about the early waking up. Yeah. And also there's like a regularity of reading a lot of book and certain things that, yeah, they're very similar. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, chilling. But yeah, all of the principle that we learn is, uh, of course, one person learn from the other, and then they pass down the knowledge. And Tao often mentioned this too. All of the study that he introduced in this course is often passed down from ancient teaching like Lao Tzu, the Buddha, and Socrates, and of course those ancient thinker learned from the previous generation. And it is important to stand on the shoulder of giant, so we don't have to spend all of the time repeating their studies. And the asset principle is very, very, very powerful. And this principle can apply to many, many different aspects of our life, right? Because by us behaving as a person we wish to become, whether that is a father, a mother, a millionaire, a leader, a great teacher, right? It does not matter what our goal is, but by behaving as the person we wish us to become, we can gradually embody the traits both externally and internally. We literally materialize those traits, and we will be able to fulfill what we needed to have to become that person. And last week we've learned the success of Mr. Roger Bannister, of how he run 1 mile under 4 minutes. And I mentioned the story of Bill Gates and how he became the reality of a self-made billionaire. And then after that, many people was able to do the same thing. Same for the 1 mile under 4 minutes. So having someone or something that you want to get to, you'll become the embodiment of those traits both externally and internally. Very, 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 very important. And this is how we can materialize our goal and dream with just one very, very simple principle. And what is even more important is that by getting toward what we wanted, by working toward our desire, it will create a positive upward spiral, right? Because when we engage in positive behavior, it will create positive attitude because we do something good, we feel good about it, and that feeling encourages us to do even more positive action. And this is the upward spiral that we will often see in our journey. And I think I mentioned the upward spiral of learning in the second or third weeks of how teaching is the best way to learn. And when you learn, right, you will know how to teach even better. And it's created this positive upward spiral of learning. So similarly, when we have a positive behavior and a positive attitude, these two elements help create uh, an upward spiral, and it helps us learn even better. So, as a principle, very powerful. You can apply this to literally everything, anything in life. Have a desire towards something, becoming somebody, and act as if we has already possessed the desired quality, and it will come true. All right, perfect. Okay, chilling. Also share on the chat. Stand on the shoulder of giant. Very much appreciated to the ones that are able to think broadly and wisely, and grateful to ones who keep pass these wisdom in the following generation, and therefore I am able to learn, practice, and follow. Ben and Jasmine and the ones in here, what you are doing now would be part of the passing it on. Yes, and you are part of this journey as well. And these are very important teaching. And I simply exercising the three R's of change: reminder, repetition, and ritual. Right. Each week we have the discussion that is a reminder, and then we keep repeating it. That's repetition. We make it into a ritual to reminding ourselves of the teaching from some of the greatest thinker of the world, and it is a privilege to be able to do this. So thank you for joining us, because this can only be possible when we get together and share. And my hope is that we will get even more fellow journeyer, and everyone can receive the benefit from this journey. And with that, I would like to move on to 9.3, the mind. And in this lecture, I'll give many examples of the power of the mind, right? Mind body connection. And the mind and the body are interconnected, and changes in one can significantly influence the other. And this connection challenges the dualistic mindset and treat them as separate entities. So the point is that we need to treat them as the interconnected entity. So instead of separate psychology with uh, physical well-being, we have to understand that there is a connection between the two. In fact, when when there is an alignment between the mind and the body, we can uh, we can achieve something beyond our imagination. And this is greatly demonstrated in Allen language study. There are two research studies that are shown in this lecture, and I would love to discuss this in great detail because of the importance of the study. And the first study that I would like to share with everyone before we can go on the discussion is the counterclockwise research. And this counterclockwise study was so popular in the 1979 that it's make it into Time magazine, I believe. And the study proved that the mind can greatly influence the body, and there are more to it. But let's hear about what Ellen Langer did in this study. And by the way, Ellen Langer is Tao's teacher. She is a psychology professor from Harvard as well. And in 1979, she did this study, and her aims was to investigate whether changing in the perception of elderly individuals about their own age can that actually reverse some of the physical and mental age of aging. So what Langer did is that she conducted a study with a group of elderly men in their late 70s and 80s. And the participants were taken into a retreat that was retrofitted to look like it was 1959. Okay, so the time was 1979. Everything in the retreat was created as if it was 20 years earlier. Everything at the retreat, including the decoration, right, the magazine, the music that was playing, even the participant conversation, it was designed to reflect 1959. And all of the participants, all of the men, they were instructed to live as if they were actually brought back in 1959. And they were discussing the past event in the present tense. And they being treated as their younger self, right? So before this 7-day retreat start, all of the participants were evaluated on various measures, including physical health indicators like vision, hearing, grip strength, joint flexibility. They was also tested on their cognitive ability like memory and attention. They and the last one was their overall well-being, their mood. And the result of the research study is very, very remarkable because all of the participants they show remarkable improvement on all three aspects of physical health, cognitive ability, and overall well-being. And there was a third party that was doing all of these measurements, and even the relative of the participants, even them can see the huge change in uh, in the participant physical health, cognitive ability, and overall well-being. So, what are the changes? Right, many participants show improvement in their vision, in their hearing, in their strength, in their joint flexibility. As far as cognitive ability, it was demonstrated that they have better memory, they have better cognitive function, and all of the men reported feeling more energetic. They were reported that they was happier, and based on the data and based on the finding, the conclusion suggested that psychological factor, particularly in one mindset and the perception about aging, could significantly influence both physical and mental health. And Alan Langer concluded that by changing the context and fostering a mindset that is aligned with a younger self, a person can potentially reverse some aspect of their age. And this is why the research study named counterclockwise, as in you can reverse the aging process by acting as if these old men was living in 20 years ago in 1959. And this show the importance of mind over body, but that's only the first half of it. In in order to understand this fully, we have to understand that the participants in these research, they actually act on it as well, right? Not only they believing that they was living in 1959, they had to act on it. They had to live it as if it was 1959. And by doing that, with only 7 days, they was able to feel healthier, both physically and mentally. And even their cognitive was better, the energy was raising higher, and they are happier. So imagine what one can do if they can maintain that mindset in a longer period of time. So very, very, very powerful study, and I would love to hear your thought on this research study before we move on to the second research study that is as impressive as the counterclockwise studies. So what is your thought on this? What can you learn on this counterclockwise studies? I see Giannina just joined too. Chilling, raise her hand. You can start this chilling.
Yeah, I'm kind of lazy for typing, so yeah. Well, when you mentioned the counterclockwise experiment, it just also remind me that it's also evidence of what we can see our brain is there's flexibility, because actually there is like a way to modify just in certain way. So if we learn how to like guide it, this brain, it could toward to different direction. Well, I can be like all depressed and miserable, and there is another alternative. So that would be another option. Yeah. Thank you for the sharing. You just remind me of that.
Yes, thanks, Chilling. And of course, the importance of this research study is that we had to act on it as well. Like, and I'll say that she always think she was just 20 years old, and that is great, right? But the that is the first step. That is the first part of it. The second part is that you actually have got to act as if you are 20. So you would do activities like a 20 years old does, and then you have to really think like the 20 years old thing, right? You have to just like the counterclockwise research of how the man actually live it. So thinking about it is one, but living as if you're 20 years old or 20 years younger is the second part of the equation. I saw Victoria unmute herself earlier. Would you like to share something on this before we move forward, Victoria?
Sure. Thank you, Ben. Yes, this one is an important topic, so I would like to jump in. So I think that the truth is that we have the choice to design our own life, and actually we even have to take the lead of the way we want to live our life. But very more than often, we forget this truth. So we let our emotion, our irrational thoughts, and the external circumstances that control our life and ourselves. So this part is something that can a good reminder for us to increase the power of our belief and also the connection between our body and mind, so that we can take a proactive or active approach to how we can lead our life. Because when you talk about the research counterclockwise, it reminds me of a reality. Maybe many of us maybe do not observe or do not think about it very often. But because just recently we come back to Vietnam, we went go many times to the beach. So I had the opportunity to watch the fish on the sea, and then it remind me of that. Yeah, the fish in order within a current, they need to actively swim against the flow, the water flow, so that they can avoid the dangerous place. So in the same way, if we want to have a happy life and achieve our goal, then we have to learn how to control ourselves and control our mind, especially because of the importance of mind over the body. Because normally we tend to act out of our old habit, and most of the habits are very harmful for ourselves and for our future. So sometimes we need to take some time for ourselves to re-examine what we are doing, what are our habitual way of thinking, and we can notice the pattern. And from then we can try to change the direction of our life and design the goal, the framework for our life, so the direction so that we can take a lead toward that goal for ourselves. So this part is a good reminder for me to put an emphasis on our belief. So we need to reconsider our belief, because more than often we always control by our very limiting belief, thinking, oh, I'm not worth it, I'm not confident, or I cannot do that. That is most of the time, that is the thoughts is come again and again whenever we have some obstacle that interfere or in the way we lead to our goal. Then we easily give up, or we change the direction or whatever. So in this way, we have to remind that we have a great potential. Our potential is infinite. So we can do whatever our mind is determined to do. So if we have strong faith and very strong belief in our capacity and in our ability, then and have a strong wish, then we will be able to find the right way and the right method to make our wish come true. So that is the power of the belief and about determination. That's why when we talk about the research, that the research about the hotel made that for those who are explaining of the benefit of what they are doing, that ultimately benefit their health. And whether it's true or not, nobody knows. But the truth, it turned out to be true that when they are educated about the benefit of what they are doing, then it actually comes true. So the power of belief and the power of imagination is very important. If we do something that we have no faith into it, then it's quite pointless, because at the end of the day, what we are doing is not leading to anywhere. But if we have a strong vision of what we are doing, and we have strong faith in the belief that what we are doing is going to benefit ourselves and others, then we can have generate energy for ourselves to keep it up, and then we can take ourselves to the destination. But if we lack the motivation, which mostly due to the external obstacle, or to our old habit, or our limiting belief, or our conflicting emotion, then we will not be able to accomplish the goal that we have set for ourselves, let alone that the goal that we want to set for others and help others and lead others. So this is something I think is very important in those research, to make the connection between the power of the mind and our action, because our action are always motivated either by our thought or by our emotion. And if we can unify our thought and our emotion and use our power to reason, to lead, it's just like the eyes, and then our emotion is just our legs. then we can combine these two forces, the vision and the energy, the motivation, then we can achieve whatever we set for ourselves. So this is what I would like to share with respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. That is great. I'm gonna highlight the importance of connecting the mind and the body, right? Having a good idea is not good enough. We have to act on it. And that is the I wouldn't call it the hidden idea or hidden lesson. It's just I feel like not too many people understand fully the counterclockwise research, because the counterclockwise is not just about mind over body, or it's not about the connection between the mind and the body. What a lot of people miss out from this research is the importance of environment, right? Because these men, they was brought into a retreat center or hotel where the environment was set up so that they can live in 1959. They had each other, they had people who really, really believe that they are living in 1959. So it's not just the thought, it's not just the action, but the environment helped make that possible. And I see this in real life too, right? From my experience, like every time I have a class like reunion, right? All of the memory come back when I hang out with my friends. Let's say I graduated in 2005, and it's gonna be 20 years. And 10 years ago, I went to the 10-year anniversary to a class uh, reunion. I got to meet my friend back in 12th grade, and it was very special because even though we were 10 years older than how we were, right? Because we were only 18 years old, but the second that everyone met, we felt as if we was young again. And I see this in my parent class reunion too. When they go to their high school reunion, they act differently. When they go into their college reunion, they act differently. Even friends that they make in different area in their life, they would act differently, right? The energy, the information are different. So understanding this, we will see the importance of environment as well. And this is something that we will learn next week and the week after that. When we learn about the blue zone, we will see the importance of our environment. And this is so important because we are doing something very, very special with the happiness movement, right? We're creating platform, we're building connection so that we can nurture an environment where we can pursue happiness. And the counterclockwise tell us the importance of connecting the mind and the body, also building the environment where we can act on our belief. And that takes us to the second the second research study that I would like to share. But first, let me read what Chilling say real quick. No, from the reminding, the important part is needed in the action. Yes. Imagine going back 20 years ago, acting on it is another essential part. Yep, definitely. Then this connects me to the movie Back to the Future. Our mind already have that time traveling machine for traveling in different timeline. And I would need the surrounding and action as well as taking this body to be back to that time. Yeah. Yes. So it is all about experience. And this discussion can go way deeper if we were to discuss time and space, right? Because if we if we were to look at time and space, the traditional thing in its past, present, and future. But imagine listening to your favorite song in the year 2000, for example. If you close your eye and listen to that song, it take you right back to where you were. Well, I live in the US. If I were to ask anyone what they were doing when 9/11 happened, people will remember exactly how it was. And I do too. So we can actually go back to experience what we had experienced in the past right at the present moment. It's getting very, very complex. So we'll save that for a different topic on time space later on. But let's look at another study that Ellen Langer did with her student, and I would like to call this study a hotel study because this is a study aimed to examine whether informing housekeeper at hotel about physical benefit at their work can impact their improvement of their health. So yeah, feeling say that I do too when 9/11 happened. You know what? When 9/11 happened, I was still in Vietnam. And I remember coming back from school and we saw that on TV and I just couldn't believe that happened. I thought it was a movie, but there it was on the news, seeing the airplane fly into the building, and that was so unbelievable. It's definitely a strain that I can still remember exactly how it was. All right. Okay, back at the hotel study. All right, so the study was done in 2007, and the study conducted with 84 participants, and all of them are female housekeeper working in different hotel. And the recent study actually very simple. The participant was divided into two groups, right? Let's call them the informed group and the control group. So one group, the informed group, this group, they they did a presentation for this group, and the group was told that the work that they do every day, right? Getting the hotel clean, clean the room, like vacuuming, cleaning bathroom, changing linen. They are told that all of their work has met the Surgeon General recommendation for an active lifestyle. So everything that they do daily, it will provide a significant health benefit as they performing their cleaning. And all of those claims were shown back by science, and the informed group understood the information, and they are very excited that their daily activity can generate the health benefit like that. And then we have the second group, the control group, and that group doesn't get to provide any information, and they continue to do their work as usual. So it's important to notice that prior to this research, all 84 participants got their measurement uh, collected. So toward the end of the study, they measure all of the measurement again, all of the health indicator, like weight, like body fat percentage, blood pressure, weight to hip ratio, body mass index. And what is so fascinating is the result is find significant health improvement in the first group, in the informed group, compared to the second group, the control group. It is found that the informed group, they have weight loss. The group experienced a reduction in weight, and then body fat, there was a decrease in body fat percentage, and then blood pressure, right? the blood pressure drop, and the waist to hip ratio improve, and their BMI, their body mass index, it is decreased, as in it's getting better. It is healthier. And this research is so important because the only difference between the first group, the informed group, compared to the control group, the second group, is that the first group was show the benefit of exercising and the benefit of doing the work of cleaning the hotel room, right? In reality, the first group doesn't do anything different. They are continuing to do the same thing as the second group did. And that is what they have been doing for many, many years. The only difference is that their mindset had changed about the nature of their work. And just because they were informed about the positive health change, they gained those positive health change, right? So this to me show the importance of having that alignment of the mind and the body, because the work has been done all of these years. The only thing changed is the mindset of showing result from these work, from these exercises. Okay. So it's very important that the mind and the body are aligned when it comes to the end result that we want. So this emphasizes again the importance of believing and doing. So definitely want to hear your thought on this study. And to me, this is super, super important because it shows that we need to change our mindset to a more positive outcome. And this is what happened to the hotel worker, because they have a different mindset. They believe that their works can provide positive improvement, and we can change our mindset to receive a positive result. So, all right. Anyone would like to share your thought on this, or if you have any question or even argument against the finding on this? I see Jasmine raise her hand first. So Jasmine and then Sheilin.
Hello, Ben and everybody. This uh the mind, we are learning about the mind as is, and that's especially talk about hotel worker. It remind me of the 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 business that I am coaching right now. Um, and I'm going to probably would use this example perhaps, or like homework or something like similar to like as is principle uh and the counterclockwise principle sharing with the boss of the business and potentially like management staff, just because um it's really important for everybody to learn about this principle and learning that is work. Because when I coach business and I said to people like, okay, I give you the tool, but it's not going to be like easy to achieve. Then I feel like everybody would think that it's hard to achieve. But if I just set my standard, I just set the standard that it's really easy to achieve. you know, I would act as if it's really to achieve, and really much it is easy to achieve when they have the tool and the skill set and the principle to follow, then whatever they learn, it would be easy for them to achieve. Um, so I feel like this, somehow this, I mean, I learned this before, and even I wrote a paper about this, but somehow I did not remember the active principle and also, how our mind works until now. So yeah, I just want to share my realization that I'm going to use this active principle and assume everything I share going to work because it's really going to work. And I'm not going to tell people that, it's hard to achieve even though you have this principle with you. So take your time to understand it. I would just say that it's really easy to do it now, since you have the tool and the principle. Because what I realized, what I should tell people when I coach. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Ben, and everyone for listening to my realization.
Thank Jasmine. And as Jasmine speak, I remember what she shared, I think last week about Alice in Wonderland, of how in the movie, Alice was lost in Wonderland, and she met the cat, the cat with a big smile, and she asked the cat which way should she go because there was different pathway, and the cat asked her like, where do you want to go? And she said it doesn't matter. Then the cat said that then if it doesn't matter, then it does not matter which way she go. And it showed the importance of intention, right? This research study showed that as well. So when you act, when you perform, when you do things with intentions, then you will get the result from that intention. But if you do it just to do it without any intention, then you will not get it. There's the difference between the informed group versus the control group. The control group, they continue to do what they has been doing for years without the intention that those activity can help benefit their physical health. Okay. The first group, the informed group, they still do what they has been doing for years, but now that they was informed about the benefit, the health benefit that they can get from doing these work, they are conscious of it, and when they do their work, they was working with intention, and it helped improve their health. So another lesson that we can learn from this is that if we was going to do something, we should be mindful about our behavior, and we should have intention on each of our performance or each of our work. Super important. So appreciate Jasmine for sharing. Chilling, feel free to unmute yourself.
Thank you for Jasmine's sharing. This also remind me of that even I've already know that still a lot of time need the reminding. So a study group like this would be a great way to just to review things that I've already know, and did I still keep on, or did I forget in somewhere, just lost in somewhere. Yeah, so it's very beneficial for the sharing. Thank you. And yeah, from Ben's sharing about the workers in the hotel, it also reminds me that like for knowing the action that I can benefits to the others, it makes different than just knowing it that I have to do regularly. So even that little difference can make the life, like the changing in life. And I've seen that amazing part, how this brain can manipulate this body Yeah, and also probably manipulate can be a positive and negative way. And I was always thinking back to people that are depression. They're hard to find those meaningful or like intention, because it just doesn't work. So it also reminds me that Tal has ever mentioned that when there is like sadness without hope, you just go out and help others. Don't ask any question. Just go and hope others and help others. And later on, just yeah, we will probably all find the other strengths back to the life. So that's also a connection for yeah. What I reminds me from Tal's sharing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chilling. And this is the important of this platform because we gotta help each other. We have to remind these important principles so that we can exercise, so that we can do it. And it is true that whatever happened in the mind, it will show in on the body. And I'm not just talking about us as a person. What amazed me the most about the spiral model is that it can apply to organization, right? You can apply every principle like this in the structure of a family, a company, an organization, even society can fit in this. Because when we talk about the mind and the body, these principles can apply to a group of people too. So when we have a group of people share the same vision, they work together toward a goal, toward a purpose, and all of their action are aligned. We have big company like Microsoft, like Apple, Amazon, Tesla, many company of Elon Musk was doing the impossible because he was able to get people to agreeing with him and working with him toward his seemed to be impossible goal, but he did all of it. And it is very powerful when we act with intention. And 9.1, 9.2, 9.3 tell us that the importance of connecting the mind, the body, act as if we have already possessed the desired quality to help cultivate that quality. And 9.3 tell us that once we can put the mind, the body in alignment, we will eventually achieve our goal. And the next, I guess, how much time we have left? In about 20 minutes. Let's make sure we cover 9.4 as well, because I think this is a topic that I think very important to discuss, and that is the Patanjali. And I believe this is a teaching of the 8 limbs of yoga, and I find many similarity between this and the teaching of the Buddha, Lao Tzu, and even in ancient Greek teaching. They also mention these practice and exercises. So definitely want to hear more from everyone on this. So Patanjali and the holistic approach to life. All right. So yoga encompasses more than just physical posture. It includes ethical guideline, personal behavior, breath control, concentration, and meditation, aiming for a unified state of being. And this helps us understand the mind-body connection, right? The practice of yoga emphasizes the connection between the mind and the body, where physical posture and breath control can influence mental state and vice versa. Okay, so my experience, and then we also have discussed meditation, breathing exercise in the first and the second week of, even the third and the fourth weeks of teaching of the happiness study program. Mindfulness and breathing and yoga can help us live in the present, help us be more mindful of what we do at the moment. But from the 8 limb of yoga, it show us even more to that. It is a holistic way of living, and this is really amazing. And let me go over the 8 limbs of yoga quickly. And then I would love to learn from everyone, because I am not an expert on this, but I find it fascinating regarding these teaching. So let's go over this very quickly. And you can see this at 8 level of yoga, or 8 path of reaching a holistic life. Okay, so the first one, yama, is about ethical principle. So in life, we have to have principle like compassion, truthfulness, non-stealing, and non-greed, and other. So when a person live with principle, especially ethical principle, I find that they get to live a very, very good life. So the second part is niyama, is personal observation, like cleanliness, acceptance, perseverance, self-study, and surrender to God. And this is the life where we we live cleanly. We avoid doing bad thing, from my understanding. So the first one is following principle, and the second one was preserve and observe. The third one is asana. It's about having exercising the physical posture, as we mentioned last week, and in 9.1, certain physical posture can help cultivate a different state of mental state. So by exercising these physical postures, it can help with mental well-being. Very important of mind-body connection. And moving on to the fourth, limbs, the pranayama, and it is all about breath control and harmonizing mind and body. So this is about breathing exercise. This is about mindful living. And then the fifth one, pratyahara, is the withdrawal from external distraction to focus on inner awareness. So this is about letting go of things that we cling to. Very important step to get closer to inner peace. So withdrawal or letting go of external distraction that are not that important to us. And then we have dharana, concentration on a single point of task. So this is about living mindfully, or it can also be called mindfulness. All right, get it to a level where we focus on one single task at hand, rather than having our mind wandering everywhere. Then the seven, we have jhana, meditation, and keen awareness without judgment. So without judging things around us, we we see it for what it is through mindfulness, through meditation. And when one exercise all 7 of those limbs of yoga, one can get to the ultimate state of oneness and unity, where the mind and the body are not separated. And this is also the state that one escape space-time from what I was told. Very, very interesting. This ultimate state of oneness and unity. So through these 8 limbs of yoga, one can expand their consciousness and understanding. And I find a lot of similarity of this with the teaching of the Buddha and Lao Tzu and Socrates. So with that, I would rather hear it from you. We do have about 14, 15 minutes left. So feel free to share your perspective, your point of view on these 8 limbs of yoga. And of course, 14 minutes, we probably need like 14 days or even like 14 months to go over all of this. But let's hear it from everyone beside myself on this great teaching of yoga. Yes, Victoria, you're free to unmute yourself. Oh,
Sorry, I was just out of the meeting, so I just come back. And so we are talking about Patanjali, right? Yeah, not much to share, so we can move on to the next point if you would like. Sorry.
oh, okay. I thought you wanted to say something on this, but yeah, this is very broad, and I guess if no one, Chilling, raise your hand. So let's hear Chilling first.
Yeah, for the yogas, Patanjali, this 8 posture, it also reminds me of the MBSR training, and there's also embedded with a little bit like a yoga posture stretching, but there's mainly used for focusing, for us to practice how to focusing on the sensation and probably the thoughts or how when the posture change, how I can adjust those focusing. But there is a lot of there are like the with these 8 limbs of yoga, there's a lot of similarity that is similar to MBSR's principle, that is practicing is like things that without judgment, things like that. It's also a breath control, and actually there's the achievement is also want to seek for the harmonized condition for the mind, the body. And there is also from the personal observance, and there is like acceptance or self-study and surrender to certain mighty power. That is also like we reset ourselves to the very beginner. Yeah, and the other one is accept what is coming or just letting go. That's also another acceptance. And the other part is embedded in that in MBSR's practice. There is actually it's a sense of compassion at the base. It just doesn't mention at the very first. It mentioned at the very later part using compassion or loving kindness practice. So I find there are so many like similarities, not in these even these two different system, and I think that's also probably benefits to the body in a global way. So those are the things that are commonality. Probably those are the things that's needs for human being, not only needs for people who are interested in yoga or interested in like using mindfulness as a well-being cultivation. Yeah, so that's just yeah, open the other side of me of understanding these. Thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you, Ling. So for me personally, I heard of yoga a lot when I was younger, even though I didn't know what it was. I only know that all of the successful people that I have heard of, they recommend yoga, they recommend meditation, they recommend mindfulness, and I didn't know how it was until later on, right? When I first learned about Patanjali, I didn't understand it, but the second, the third time that I circle back to it, it make a lot of sense on each of these 8 practice. But I see NL raise her hand, so feel free to share. I'd rather hear from you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Ben, and thanks for this section because it's quite useful for us to understand the word inside the lesson. So to me, for this part, I remember that as I said in before that I will recover from the biotech. So that's why is this I have the issue with my health. So when I have to go to do for the meditation, and the meditation is not sitting meditation, it's stand up meditation. It's mixing between yoga and meditation. We have some action to hand up or hand down, something like that. Then at the beginning when I just doing like do hand up, hand down, that means it's only physical outside. It doesn't connect to my mind, and then it doesn't help. And after a few days, and then my teacher teach me to concentrate on the body and mind when it connected, and then I feel the energy very clearly is go in different part of my body. So it means that at that moment I can connect between mind and my body. So this is really help to direct the energy to where we want. So that is the reason why I can recover some my problem with my health. So I think this one is a really nice section. Yeah. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Yeah.
NL. I think her name is Lan. Thanks for
Yeah,
your sharing.
correct.
Redirecting energy, and I think there are a lot more to it, and there are so many different approach to this, and people would take decades to study the benefit of yoga. And I agree with NL regarding the flow of energy to different part of the body that can help us heal. And I think there is a lot more to this 8 limbs of yoga than what it appeared to be. And from my perspective, from my point of view, and from my belief, these are the exercises that can help a person connect their body and mind. And I think it's go a little bit beyond that. And that is the connection between the mind, body, and spirit, right? Because not only the body and the mind getting aligned, but once a person can get to the ultimate state of oneness and unity mentioned in the samadhi, the 8 limbs. It is the ultimate one. This is where the mind and body are not separated; they are one. And when a person get to that state, they have that oneness, they have that unity, and they receive that wisdom of how things work. And the 7-8 limb show us how to get closer to that state of oneness. And the Patanjali practice and exercises can show us how to get there by living with principle, by avoiding doing bad things. It's also help us with the physical exercise to align the mind and the body, breathing control, right? It's not just about breathing, it's about the intention, it's about redirecting the energy to have that harmonizes between the mind, the body, and even avoid external distraction. So, and and having focus, being mindful. And I see Ngọc still raising her hand. I wonder if she forgot to lower. Do you have anything to share before we end the call? I,
No. It's I
it was
haven't
before.
put a hand down. I think I give the chance for others. But before leaving, I just want to say that energy flow where attention go. So that's why in the body and the mind is the same. And then at work, when the body and the mind is connected to the work, is a flow. So that is the energy flow where attention go. At that one, we can deliver the highest productivity and highest performance. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you, Ben, and everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Yes. So I believe one level is to have intention. And just like what Ngọc Lan said, energy go where intention go. And this also related back to the hotel, the research on the hotel when the cleaning ladies, when they send the intention to physical exercise and they get the result from the physical exercise. People can receive knowledge when they put their intention toward understanding. Or if a person put their intention toward their breath, then that will be their intention of where the the energy of the breathing go. But I think the ultimate one is the ultimate state of oneness and unity. So instead of focusing on one, instead of having the intention on one, the ultimate state is to have that unity, to have that omniscience. And in order to have that omniscience, a person had to be able to tell between the the truth and the illusion. And that is what mentioned in number 5, the pratyahara, withdrawal from external distraction to focus on inner awareness. Because the external, the desire that we have, can show us a lot of different illusion, right? So exercising number 5 can help us remove that so that we can see clearer. And number 6, concentrating on the single point of task is what Dr. Lam mentioned earlier regarding intention. So these 8 limbs of yoga, there are a lot more to it than what it appeared to be. Okay, even just simple as yamas, ethical principle. We can make an observation. We can see that people with ethical principle tend to live a better life, right? And I guess I think it's good to just introduce that today since we are running out of time, and I'd rather keep the meeting within the 90 minutes. And we kind of reached toward the end, but we can always circle back to this discussion in the future because everything is interconnected. So I just before we go, I would like to thank you for joining today's discussion, and I look forward to our Saturday discussion every single week. And I thank you so much for joining me because I learned a lot from you, and I hope you get a lot of value from this discussion. And together, we are exercising that 3 R's of change and the spiral theory of knowledge. And before we go, let me play a song for you, and I'll see you next time. All right.
Every day I wake up, sunshine in my eyes. Make up my mind now, gonna reach the skies. My choice is simple, gonna have a good day. Look at the world now in a bright new way. Every day is good, but life feels so right. Love all around me, everything's bright. Grateful for the moments with laughter and cheer. Feeling the love now, so glad you're near. Even when it's cloudy, joy finds a way. In every heartbeat, it's gonna be okay. Every day is good, but life feels so right. Love all around me, everything's bright. Even when it's cloudy, joy finds a way. In every heartbeat, it's gonna be okay. Every day is